Horoscope, an astrological forecast for January 2026 for representatives of the Sagittarius sign. January 2026 for you is a time of important steps on the path to improving your standard of living. The majority of astrological events of the month occur in your second house of the horoscope, and this is the sector of your personal resources. Resources, both material, physical, property-related, and resources as the totality of your knowledge, experience, your talents, and abilities. And also our important resource is our physical shape, our energy, so to speak, the level of charge of our battery at a given period of time. And now is the time, figuratively speaking, to take an inventory of everything we have today. To think about what can be corrected, adjusted, improved, and with this baggage, begin your upward path. Yes, January can bring a feeling of dissatisfaction with the current state of affairs. You yourself, conducting this internal audit, can give yourself an assessment like, yes, good, not bad, but I can do better, I am capable of more. And based on this internal dissatisfaction, a very clear, distinct intention is born to raise your standard of living or an intention to improve your physical condition. That is, essentially, an intention to strengthen yourself in different directions. January 2026 is a unique time. Throughout just one calendar month, the beginning of 10 new planetary cycles occurs at once. And each of these cycles is a vortex of energy, into which we can, as if, sow the seeds of our goal. This is a very interesting and strong month, which will not let you relax completely, despite the traditional time of New Year holidays. Now energies are forming on an increasing scale and will reach their peak in February of this year. Therefore, perhaps the very first days of January will give an opportunity to rest, but already from January 3, earthly affairs will remind of themselves. At the end of this month, a conjunction of two planets of power occurs, the planet Mars and the planet Pluto, and their conjunction will lead to many situations beginning to change radically. And if at this time or before this moment we ourselves do not choose for ourselves the main field of our battle for results, for success, the main zone of transformation of our reality, then after this conjunction, the space for choice may narrow significantly when we are already acting in response to circumstances, not shaping them ourselves. Let's discuss in more detail the most important astrological events of the month and their influence on your sign. Step by step. On January 1, the planet Mercury moves into the space of the Capricorn sign. Your second house of the horoscope, and Mercury will be here until January 20. Mercury is our thoughts, words, short roads. It is our informational contact with the people and the world around us. And the sign of Capricorn, in which Mercury will be located, is the sign of rules, order. It is the domicile of Saturn, asceticism, and precision. Therefore, despite the New Year holidays, for you this period from January 1 to January 20 is a time of serious reflection. And first of all, they may concern your resources, since Mercury is in the second house, the house of our resources. This is a time when you may try to limit yourself in some expenses, since Mercury symbolizes purchases. And being in the sign of Capricorn, in the domicile of Saturn, which loves asceticism, which does not like excesses, this is a time when we can consciously limit ourselves in spending and try to be ascetic. This asceticism may relate not only to expenses. This is what concerns the entire period from January 1 to January 20. But precisely on January 1, Mercury will be in a tense aspect relative to the planet Neptune. And this will form an energy of chaos and misunderstandings. Therefore, on this day, January 1, attentiveness is needed, since our forgetfulness will increase here. And also you need to carefully control the quality and freshness of the food you consume. On January 3, on this day, the first full moon of 2026 occurs. It occurs in the sign of Cancer in your 8th house of the horoscope. The full moon gives completion, culmination, clarity, and results. And this full moon closes some topics, tasks, or processes that you initiated back at the end of June 2025, at that time when the new moon occurred in the same zodiac sign. What exactly might the issues of this full moon concern, considering that it occurs in your 8th astrofield? The 8th house is the sector of our mutual settlements with other people, organizations, and the state. This is also the sector of our common joint budget. And also this sector is responsible for debts, loans, for financial obligations, both ours to someone and obligations towards us. And now some issue related to property, related to your financial obligation, may close. Some of your financial obligations may be completed, for example, to an employer, or you may close a debt, loan, or mortgage. A purchase you thought about back at the end of June 2025 may take place here. You may receive a payment, a money transfer you are expecting. Also, the 8th house shows the income level of our life partner. Therefore, this is a time that will give clarity regarding the income level your partner can expect in the coming months. Also, the period of influence of this full moon. Here some topic that caused you anxiety will close. On January 6, on this day, a conjunction of the Sun and the planet Venus occurs in your 2nd house of the horoscope. The parade of new planetary cycles begins. The Sun is our self, our role, our image, our intentions, and Venus is our desires, our tastes, preferences. And now we get results or clarity regarding those decisions or choices we made around January 9, 2022. And also our current topics for reflection, our desires. They may be in tune with what was relevant for us around January 2014 and also January 2018. The conjunction of the Sun and Venus occurs in your 2nd house of the horoscope, the sector of your resources. Resources are both what we possess in material, physical, property form. But a resource is also ourselves, since we ourselves are our main life resource. A resource is our physical, emotional, and energetic state. And this time of the conjunction of the Sun and Venus is a time when we want to improve both ourselves and everything that is in our field of vision. Improve what directly surrounds us. I will make a separate video with more details about this important Venus-Sun cycle. On January 8, in the same house of your horoscope, in the sector of your resources, another conjunction of 2 planets occurs. The conjunction of the planet Venus and Mars. Venus is our desires, choices, and Mars is our concrete steps, our actions. And on this day, we will ask ourselves the question, what specifically can I do to improve the state of affairs? Since this conjunction occurs again. In your 2nd house of the horoscope, the sector of your resources, then on this day you may ask yourself, what exactly can I do to improve the position of my financial affairs and my resourcefulness in different senses? Since the conjunction of Venus and Mars is also about relationships. Since Venus symbolizes feminine energy and Mars masculine, then on this day you may ask yourself, how exactly can I build relationships? Relationships not only in personal life, but also with friends, colleagues, clients. How exactly can I modify my approach in relationships so that I am valued more? On January 9, on this day, a conjunction of the Sun and the planet Mars occurs in your 2nd house of the horoscope. This is an important reference point. This is the beginning of the 2-year Capricorn cycle of Sun-Mars. This is the beginning of a 2-year cycle of activity. This is the moment of the birth of a need that becomes, so to speak, paramount for us. This is the moment of the beginning of the battle for results. Since this conjunction occurs in your 2nd house of the horoscope, these are issues that primarily concern financial and property matters. Issues of increasing income, issues of your financial self-sufficiency, and it may also be about physical exertion in order to feel stronger and more energetic, in order to increase your resourcefulness and significance in matters important to you. I will make a separate video with more details about this important cycle, the 2-year Sun-Mars cycle. On January 9 and 10, the Sun, Mars, and Venus will be in opposition, in a tense aspect relative to the planet Jupiter, which will again affect your financial and energetic axis of the horoscope. January 9 and 10 are the exact dates of the aspect, but it will be felt until the middle of the month. Now it is important for you to avoid any loans, debts, and to fulfill your financial obligations on time in order not to create a negative financial vortex. Now there may be disputes on financial topics with people with whom you have a common income or common property. This includes family, clients, employer, or business partners. Now you may feel that something is lacking, insufficient. This may concern finances, time resources, or self-confidence. On January 17, on this day, the Sun will be in a favorable aspect relative to the planets Saturn and Uranus. This is such an easy and successful day when any issues are resolved quickly and effectively. The main thing is to take on solving these issues. This may concern issues of purchases for the home, solving some family tasks, and various preparatory activities. And on the same day, January 17, the planet Venus moves into the space of the Aquarius sign, into your third house of the horoscope, where it will be until February 10. Venus symbolizes beauty, luxury, pleasure, symbolizes well-being. And its transit through some sphere of our life, through some house of the horoscope, improves the indicators here. The transit of Venus through your third house of the horoscope will bring profit from trade, profitable purchases, will bring meetings and communication with pleasant people. New clients who will be profitable for you may come to you, and at the same time, they will be pleasant people to communicate with. This transit of Venus will bring you a feeling of ease and freedom to manage your time. On January 18, this is the day when the first new moon of 2026 occurs. And this new moon occurs in the sign of Capricorn, again in your second house of the horoscope, in the sector that symbolizes our personal budget, our personal income, and our expense items. The new moon brings something new. These are new financial plans. This could be a new bank card, reissuing an account, or a new way of mutual settlements between you and your clients or your employer. These could be some payments to new details, and in general, these are new financial strategies. On January 20, on this day, the planet Mars, a source of strength and energy, will be in an aspect of luck relative to the planet Uranus, which will affect your second and sixth astrofield. This is a successful day for solving any issues, especially those related to work or the distribution of responsibilities. This is a very favorable day for purchases for your home or purchases for health, for sports activities, for example, for acquiring a gym membership or purchasing some exercise machine for your home. Also, this day may bring you victory in some dispute. And on the same day, January 20, another important astrological event occurs. A conjunction of the planet Venus and Pluto occurs. In your third house of the horoscope, a new Venus-Pluto cycle begins, which will last until March 6, 2027. Venus symbolizes our tastes, choices, preferences. Also, Venus symbolizes beauty and Pluto carries the energy of transformation. What exactly can change here until March 6, 2027, for your sign? This could be changing a car or acquiring a car. This could be acquiring some other means of transport. This could be changing means of communication, and also cleansing your circle of communication from so-called toxic people. And since Venus symbolizes women, here communication with some woman with whom you have rather difficult relations may cease. This could be your distant relative, could be your colleague or boss. On January 23, on this day, a conjunction of the Sun and the planet Pluto occurs in your third house of the horoscope. The Sun is our self, our personality, our role, our image. And Pluto is the energy of transformation. Pluto arranges a cleanup of our life, whether we like it or not. And on this day, January 23, at the moment of the conjunction of the Sun and Pluto, the annual cycle of transformation begins. Pluto in this house of your horoscope, in the third astrofield, is here for a long time, until 2040-243, and it will change a lot here. But the third house of our horoscope symbolizes a great multitude of aspects of our existence. And every year Pluto takes up one of these strings. And at the moment of the conjunction of the Sun and Pluto, we receive a hint, a sign about which particular direction of our life transformational Pluto will take up this year. Therefore, for each of us on this day, it is important to listen to external signs from the side of space or our internal decisions and needs. If on this day some events occur that point us to certain rough spots in our life, rough spots of our existence, then it means precisely this sector Pluto will take up this year. Considering that this conjunction occurs in the third astrofield of your horoscope, what specific directions could these be? First of all, learning, means of communication, transport, learning new skills, knowledge. This may concern personal business, both starting your own projects and active development or modification. Also, this may be an issue related to the acquisition of things, such items that you need to implement your plans. Also, Pluto in this sector will change your circle of communication and daily roads. I will make a separate video with more details about this important annual Sun-Pluto cycle. On January 26, on this day, the planet Neptune repeats and finally moves into the space of the Aries sign, and a new era begins, an era of extremes and fanaticism. Neptune symbolizes our ideals, our ideology, our faith, but also our illusions. The transit of Neptune in your horoscope will pass through the fifth astrofield in an aspect of luck relative to your sign, and this creates a wonderful field of creativity in its various manifestations. This gives a chance to meet that person who will captivate both heart and mind. This is an opportunity to create a masterpiece in your life, whatever it may concern. I will make a separate video with more details about the influence of the transit of the planet Neptune through the sign of Aries, its influence on each of the zodiac signs. On January 27, this is a very important day. On this day, two planets that personify strength and power. The planet Mars and Pluto meet in the sign of Aquarius. They meet in order to unite forces and change the future. Mars symbolizes personal strength and Pluto collective. Mars is the force that comes from within us, and Pluto is the force that comes from outside. And these two planets meet in the space of the Aquarius sign, which symbolizes the future, symbolizes evolution and progress. Uniting, these two forces can both destroy and revive. In a personal horoscope, this is a time when it is important to direct this flow of force. That is, to choose for yourself the main direction of transformation for the next 2 years, to determine your field of battle for results and success. The conjunction of these planets occurs in your third house of the horoscope, and this is the field of practical opportunities for implementing your plans. This is the space of concrete steps. Therefore, the astrological advice here is this: do not look far. What you need, all of it is already here. All of it is already in your hands. You just need to create a certain structure out of it. Thus, from the point of view of astrology, January 2026 will be. And I wish you a wonderful, successful month, dear Sagittarians.